LSI stands for Lean Synergy International. And what we do with our clients is we teach them the lean methodology, the Kaizen principles, to eliminate waste within their organization.
We've seen improvement in a number of areas. One would be the organization of our facility and our parts presentation. We've got improved material flow, standardized work processes. Our on-time delivery is better because our supplier performance is better as we manage it through a two-bin or a Kanban system. And the standardized work has enabled us to improve quality as well. So this has improved on-time delivery, customer satisfaction, and our financial performance ultimately from cash flow.
We started back in September of 2006. We've seen significant throughput improvements, lead time reductions, a few defect reductions as far as from the quality standpoint. Also, we've seen a lot of opportunity for empowerment with our people. Those are some of the real key highlights. From a cost savings standpoint, we're probably pushing close to $100,000 in savings already.
So I think one of the best values that they have gotten out of this program is the value-added concept. That when they are doing something, when they are performing an operation, is that operation really adding the value to the process? And that has opened so many eyes, that has opened so many doors for them, that is just unbelievable.
A Kaizen week consists of 5-day week, in which the team on Monday gets together and is trained on the lean principles and the Kaizen methodology. After they're trained, we release them to the floor and they begin what we call the day of discovery. This is where the team will get together and measure cycle time on every operator. They will measure the travel distance of the product through the manufacturing process and people movement through the manufacturing process. They will look at identify quality issues and quality problems. They will identify the current floor space that they're using. All of this gives them the awareness of what opportunities they have out there in the forms of waste. And waste is what we really focus on. If we know if we can reduce the waste within that process, we can shrink their lead time. So after Tuesday, the team comes back Wednesday after they've collected the data and makes the recommendations to the management staff as to the changes they need to make, and we empower the team to go ahead and really disassemble the assembly line or the manufacturing process and rebuild it in 1 week, in 1 day actually. And what we typically see when we have this type of empowerment with the team that's cross-functional, we see better throughput improvement, we see cycle time reduction, we see product travel reduction, we see manpower redeployment in some areas, and it's all a positive thing to see the team take that from what they currently had on Tuesday and transform it in 1 day. They get very, very excited, and that's the synergy that we bring to the table, and that's why lean synergy is what we focus on. When the team makes these changes, they come back Thursday, and what we do is we time the operators again. We look at part travel reduction, and we look at throughput improvement, and we baseline that off of Tuesday's results. And then the team comes together Friday and presents that to management in the final presentation. And there's a lot of excitement. It's amazing when you have a group of people who have never participated in this much empowerment and allowing them to make the change in areas that they're really the experts in. And for management to allow that to happen, it's a win-win situation for the organization. It really starts to change the cultural. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a cultural transformation to where the individuals within the organization can begin to do this on their own, and LSI pretty much takes a back seat and begins to work strategically with the steering committee or the corporate leaders.
Lean will give us a competitive advantage in a couple of ways. Number one, it will allow us to be able to take on more volume without adding a lot of overhead. One of the real keys with Lean is creativity before capital. So we don't have to add a lot, we won't add more headcount. We're actually going to grow our business significantly in 2007 without adding headcount. So that, to me, is probably the biggest difference.
Lean is a culture, and a lot of ways people try to put Lean together as a event thinking. It's more like system thinking. It starts from the buy-in from the company top down, and it's a way of life.
Major improvement that we've seen in our facility was overtime reduction. The inefficiencies in processes such as long changeovers, running with large batches, was creating actually big spurts in demand, either in supplies or within the process, resource-wise, and we would always be behind schedule. So to compensate for those delays, we would run longer. We would run longer days. We would run on Saturdays, and we finally looked at our inefficiencies and said, well, if our changeovers were quicker and if we were running more products more frequently, well, we could probably cope with our customer demand. So first approach was looking at our machineries and start identifying issues where we would spend too much time changing over. So we actually came from a 50-minute changeover down to a 10-minute changeover using SMED, single miniature changer dies principle.
One of our challenges has been to have the right inventory to support our production line. And not having an MRP system in place, that has been a challenge for us all along. With the lean manufacturing process that we have implemented for several of our product lines, it has enabled us to manage that inventory a lot more effectively.
One critical element of Kaizen is for management to allow the teams to stop production during the week. It's always a difficult concept for management to understand. You want to empower your teams, and to do that is by supporting them and allowing yourself to either build up some form of buffer so you can shut down the lines, and then allowing the teams to go in there and make and implement the changes necessary to be successful. The teams walk away from this with a lot of enthusiasm because they see the buy-in from management, and it's very, very crucial to the success of your program. As you go into it more and more, you're going to want that buy-in.
We provide profit sharing to the employees. So in addition to a 401k, they get profit sharing. So when we're running the business smarter and we're reducing costs, then they're benefiting as individuals. We also have a big emphasis on employee development. So as they undertake the lean training and implement the lean initiatives, they're developing as individuals, which is enabling them to frankly increase their earning power as they bring more value to the company.
First thing that I'm recognizing already is the production cells and the floor. Everything's being moved around, and we're going to minimize the, I guess, the waiting period or the walking area. They're going from A to B to C to D in our production cells. And so that's going to be the biggest improvement.
This particular workshop is actually focusing on the process flow and the future layout of the facility.
Typically, the Kaizen team makeup is 1/3 of the participants are in the area where we're looking to Kaizen, the process owners. The other third is the supervisor to that department. And the third is what we call the infants. Those are the folks that can easily step out of the box because they don't have any ownership in that process. And they're the ones that get the other team members to think about things differently. And when we group our team like that, we get a lot of synergy going in that arena. And the team is able to, take, sometimes things to the next level. And that's what we're looking for.
One of the big things is empowerment. It allows them to really be involved as part of the change. Kaizen is change for the better. They're able to make that change on the floor, which really empowers them to go and be accountable and own a part of the business.
As we are going through the Kaizen events, and those people who are part of the Kaizen, they are the change agents, and they strive for changes, and people see it and see the benefit of it, and they want more too. So that's how it's spreading throughout the company.
I think that any company that take advantage of lean manufacturing, granted that upfront it will take time to learn and process, and it will probably cut down your downtime on production, but in the long term you can save costs, you can cut out the waste, and then you can be very profitable.
Forecast what it is we're going to need and make sure that we're not overstocking our warehouse. Finding new processes on how we should order and where our items should be positioned so that we have a better strategy of when the product comes in and when the product goes out.
As an account executive, we work in the sales portion, so we always want to have product ready on hand. So it's a different way of thinking. And so you have a much different mentality when you're going out there and trying to get equipment out as quickly as possible, but then knowing on the lean manufacturing production how we're having everything come in as a current flow, constant flow.
You cannot implement lean. It's gonna go on forever.
It's great when you see a team that at first part of the week is thinking, wow, are we going to be able to do all this? And then come in Thursday and watch the transformation and the light bulbs go on with the associates. It's great, and that's the synergy we're talking about, and that's why we're LSI.